This today. Derek Nagy won't practice. Pacheco did the walkthrough but won't practice. And then Joe Tooney won't practice today. Everybody else will go. Had a good day yesterday in preparation. We know every day is important with the challenge of playing the Ravens. So with that, time's yours. Yeah, they're good all the way around. Good back end, secondary linebackers are fast and good tacklers, and then their front strong. So good all around defense.
And did you see anything in Lamar's game against Pittsburgh that suggested a different playoff persona to him than maybe he's had in the past, and some sort of growth there?
Well, listen, I've always had a ton of respect for him. From the time he got in the league on, he's playing good football. He's been doing it all year and has just carried it into the playoffs. Yeah, last week.
And when you saw him come into the league, obviously up against, I can't remember the timing, but the first time Patrick faced him, did you at that point have some sense we're going to be seeing this go on for years and years, and with those two guys going against each other?
Yeah, it felt that way. I mean, the league is lucky to have these young quarterbacks that are so good, talented. But that they've got a good team around him, and he's good. And so you figured that somewhere we were going to be playing him once or twice. So, yeah.
Andy, Mike Edwards back to work today?
Yeah, Mike will be out there.
What's his?
He's just precautionary, just ease him back in and see how he's doing.
Did Willie have a setback? Willie Gay have a setback?
His neck is stiff, and he just can't turn right now. So it's getting better, but I mean that's what happened in the game.
Did he kind of have a setback during the game, or just couldn't go?
Yeah, it wasn't working. It got worse during the game. So it did. Yeah.
How important is Willie, especially when you face a running quarterback, is athleticism there?
Yeah, no, Willie, he's a big part of our defense. However, I wouldn't slight Drew for the job he did coming in. But Willie's a good player. He's part of it. He's part of the success that we've had.
It's a big picture, but what do you think of the job that Steve Spagnuolo has done for you?
Yeah, he's done a great job. Great job. Not that he hasn't in the past. We just had some young players. So, but the teaching part of it. Whether it's David working with the secondary and Donald, I mean, they've got that crew, a young group that made some mistakes last year. They've got them playing good football, accurate football. Brendan with the linebackers doing a nice job there. Guys flying around making plays. So, and then you look at Joe and how he's fit people in there and kept a nice rotation going with the guys. He's done a nice job too. So, but Spags is the general of that group, and he designs all the stuff that we throw at offenses, and he's got a great variety of pitches. So. Yeah, sure. Well, the scheme is important. How you utilize the scheme is important. When you think of our defense, you think we blitz all the time, but it's not blitzing all the time. It's when you blitz. It's important. Give yourself an opportunity to get home or get done with the blitz that you want to get done. Spag's got a great feel for that. So he doesn't get overzealous with blitzing every down. And some guys do that. He picks and chooses the time, but to do that, you've got to know, or at least have a feel on what the offense is doing. But and then I think a big part of it is, do your players believe in it? So you can be a great teacher, do all that, but if your players aren't believing in the scheme, you're not going to have the production you want. So he does a nice job of that. Yeah, well, both of them are good leaders. They're not afraid to make the decision. So, where sometimes coordinators that haven't been head coaches are sat in that seat, they're afraid to do that. But both of them do a nice job with that. Yes, they have a very good job with it actually.
All right.
All right, good.
When Lamar first came, when the first time you guys played, did you sort of picture that over the course of the years that you would have this kind of game with them, an AFC title game, and that this would be a little bit of a back and forth?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just looking at what he did in college, and then the Ravens organization and how much success they've had my entire life, I knew that he was going to put him in the right position to win. And we were going to be playing a lot of big games, AFC Championship, playoff games, whatever that was. And so it's cool to see that we're finally here. We're finally playing in our first playoff game against each other, and it's going to be a great challenge.
You really seem to enjoy the challenges of playing on the road last week, and then obviously this week. Why? What is it like going on the road that you really appreciate?
Yeah, it's different. First off, we've played a lot of home games, a lot of games at Arrowhead, which we love. But getting a new challenge, a new opportunity to go out there and see what we can do. That as well as when you're on the road. I mean, obviously Chiefs Kingdom travels, but everybody's against you, and you got to go out there and come together as a team and find a way to win. And it's just a whole new opportunity for you to go out there and see what you're really about.
You talked about Rashee a lot. He said he feels more comfortable identifying man or zone faster now. Just from a processing standpoint, how do you see him grow?
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten a lot better. I mean, every single week he continues to get better and better. He's learned from the early mistakes that he's made and doesn't make them again. He learns from the right guys, if that's 11 or if that's 87. He stays with them, asks the right questions, and he asks the coaches the right questions. And so he's done a great job throughout the entire season, and it seems like the bigger the game, the more plays he makes.
Patrick, you got a little different perspective on this, but what's more what you thought of the job that Steve Spagnuolo's done?
No, I mean, he's done a great job his entire time here. I mean, he's really done a great job everywhere he's been. I mean, he always coaches the defense up, and he gets guys going in the right direction. I mean, he has a track record as one of the best defensive coordinators of all time in the Super Bowls that he's won at that defensive coordinator spot. And this year, I think, has really magnified it with how they've really carried us to get to this point and done a great job of being able to make in-game adjustments. I think that's a huge thing, and he's really good at making those adjustments, coming out and finishing the game the right way. And so I said it in training camp, and I've said it all year long. I'm glad I don't have to go up against those guys.
Travis has mentioned resting Week 18 is giving him a little bit more energy. Have you noticed any extra juice now that he was able to kind of have those 2 weeks in a row?
I don't even know if it was the rest or if it's just playoffs. I mean, he's played in so many playoff games now. I think, I mean, obviously the regular season is very important and he wants to do really good, but it's just like the playoffs is a different intensity, and I think he likes that. He likes playing the big games and going up against the best, and that's what makes him so special in the playoffs, is that he's able to make his game even rise another level, which you don't see. I mean, he's already at the top, and to rise another level is that's what the special players do, and I'm just glad he's on my team. He makes my job a lot easier being able to throw him the ball in those big moments.
We'll go formal. Let's go by. Go ahead.
Patrick, from yesterday, it seemed pretty clear you think Lamar is the deserving MVP, and I wonder, though, if that also is a motivational point to you as you enter this game, that he's the deserving MVP, but you got something to say about it, too.
I mean, not this year. My stats and my numbers, I don't know if I was in that conversation, but he led his team. I think MVP is a lot of things. It's stats, it's leading your team, winning football games, and he did that all this year. I think for us, it's just the challenge of going up against the best is what motivates you. I mean, they got the best defense. They got the MVP on offense. They have a great special teams unit, and they were the best football team throughout the entire season. So it motivates you to, in order to win the Super Bowl, you got to beat the best teams, and this is the best team that we've played so far this year, and it'll be a great challenge for us.
Dave?
Patrick, you mentioned the stats, but also everything from what defenses threw at you, the 8-game stretch where you lost 5 times. Has this been a more challenging season for you, or the most challenging season you've had as a starter here?
Yeah, I would say it's just challenging in the fact that I had to deal with a lot of adversity, again, not having the success that I've had in the past. Knock on wood, I haven't had to deal with any of like the injuries or anything I've dealt with before in a season. So I call those seasons challenging. But at the same time, being able to not win all the games and going out there and have big stats and all that different type of stuff has been different. But it's taught me how to win in different ways and become the best quarterback for our team, not necessarily the best quarterback for stats and stuff like that, but the best quarterback I can be for us to go out there and get wins.
Last two, Steve and then Todd. Go, Steve.
Patrick, trust is a huge thing in this game, right? Like, I'm wondering how much you've had to learn how to do that. I remember asking Coach Reid last year about Scott and, having to keep going with him and trusting him all the way to the end of the season. MVS is another guy this year who's had, some ups and downs. How much have you had to learn how to, trust in guys, and how much have you leaned on Coach Reid to learn how to do that?
I think it's kind of just who I am. If I see you put in the work and I see you coming to practice every day and working your tail off, doing the extra stuff, then I'm going to trust you to go out there and have success. And I've seen the guys do that. And that's why I've had the trust in Sky last year. I have the trust in MVS and all these guys. It's because I see how they work every single day. I mean, everybody sees the game day, and they might not see the success that they want to happen. But when you see the work and the work ethic these guys have every single day, you know that they're giving everything they have, and that's all you can ask for. And then we let the results handle themselves. We go out there and just play to our best of our ability and try to win the game.
Last one, Todd.
Patrick, well, you played these guys 4 years in a row early on in your career. They have different defensive coordinator now. So is much changed about the way they play? You've had some great success offensively.
There's definitely been some schematic changes, but at the end of the day, it's the Ravens. I mean, they're going to play physical, they're going to play fast, they're going to play hard, and they have a lot of pride in defense. I mean, obviously, they have the offense, and they've put up a lot of numbers over these last few years. But if you think about the Ravens' as defense, and they're going to fly around and try to dictate tempo, that's just who they are. And so it's our job is to go out there and play our game, play fast, play physical as well. And match their tempo, and so it's going to be a great challenge. I'm excited for it. I mean, I know it's going to be tough, it's going to be hard, but at the same time, this is what you want at this point in the playoffs.
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks.
Looking back to last week, how challenging were the conditions up there with the wind? We talked to Harrison about it a little bit. We saw some
Yeah,
kickoffs going different lengths and
it was a little different, and I listened to Bucker's media, and, he talked about how the stadium was lower, and he's absolutely right. I mean, that wind was coming over the top and kind of swirling in there. So that first kick that he made was really a great kick, into that wind right there. That was a 47-yarder, and it was right at our line. Our line was 48, and he made that kick, which was huge at that point, kind of stopped the bleed, and they scored, we scored, kind of settled everybody down. Very, very, very critical in that game. Excuse me? We played there, obviously it was 21. I can't remember exactly. It'll be game to game. We go in and we really evaluate, the day, what happens during that day that you're there. So it's always different.
What do you think about Justin Tucker and Harrison Butker?
They're both great kickers. I mean, obviously, Harrison is, if he's, I'm kind of biased because he's my guy, but I mean, they're both neck and neck to me, and I think Tucker is outstanding. I mean, when you watch him, he's just so pure in everything he does and consistent and strong leg. I mean, it's just amazing. And he's been doing it for such a long time. So he's the best. He's good.
Dave, along those lines, we're all talking about Patrick and Lamar, but I mean, from your perspective, are you going to just thinking about Justin and
I mean, I try to, I'm trying to have Bucker just focus on himself. I mean, if you start thinking about what he's doing, there's no sense in that, really. They're not really going against each other, really, in a sense. So, the only time they really see each other is in pregame when they're looking at each other's kicks, So, other than that, it's, they both, it's a friendly competition. Obviously they look at each other, they admire each other, I'm sure. And I know Bucker does. Oh, yeah, it's huge. I mean, this whole thing, John Harbaugh, I worked for, 20 years ago, I worked for John Harbaugh. I was his assistant special teams coach. So, I mean, he taught me a lot. Just about everything, almost everything I know, I learned about special teams when I first started. So, I have a lot of respect for him, and I know how important special teams is to John. And I know what the emphasis they put on it on their football team, whether it's the roster and how much time they practice, and so all those things, the personnel, the guys they have, the coaches, Chris Horton and Randy Brown, those guys are great coaches. So. We know we got our hands full, and it's, when you put on the tape, you see it. You see how hard the guys are playing, the schemes that they have. It's going to be a great challenge, and it's a game within the game. In this game, a close game could come down to special teams, and it's going to be a great battle.
Thinking about the return against the Texans for a touchdown, out of character for them, or was that?
Very out of character, very out of character, and I'm sure John, it's a thorn in John's side. I guarantee it. There's no question about that, and they're going to work hard not to have that happen again. But yeah, that's a rarity, against that team.
Dave, looking back
Last two, right here.
Dave, looking back to last week, Bills decided to go for it based on that fake fourth down.
Yep.
What were you telling your guys? Were you guys expecting that, or?
It was fourth and 5 at the 30. So every time you come on the field with your punt return, the first thing you want to do is play defense first, and that's always we always talk about that. We want the ball back, so it's always that. And you heard Bolton as he was coming off the field, watch the fake, and that's every time it's watch the fake, unless it's 4th and 25 or so. But anytime it's close like that, you'll hear guys say that. Just a reminder for everybody. And our guys, the 6 guys that were inside the box, did an outstanding job. They saw it, they read it, they didn't get reached, they stopped it, and made it cut back. Leo and Cole Christensen made the tackle. I'm so proud of those guys, the way they rose up and made a play.
How would you assess the job that Richie has been doing, and if Tony were available, would that be open up for potentially home run shot later?
Yeah, that's always a possibility. We're going to go, we're going to stick with Richie. Richie's been our guy. He's at meetings. He knows what's going on, and and he's been good. And he's been really good. He's making good decisions, and he's solid, and that's what we're looking for right now. Injuries or something like that, you might see Tony, you might see Hardman.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Start off.
Big picture, Matt, we talked a little bit over the past month or so about how you guys have kind of cleaned up, getting the plays in and all that. Looking back, how did things kind of get to where they were, where you guys were having those issues? Was that a slow thing or something?
Not necessarily. I think when you see some of the things that happened on tape, like that, the one game where, getting in and out of the huddle for different reasons, whether it's personnel or whether it's what we have in the play call. I think it's a combination of all of that, So sometimes that kind of stuff makes you look back and say, okay, what can we do differently to help these guys out? Start with us on our side, and then what do they need to do on their end to make it come together? And that's what we did, and I think the best part of it was that no one took offense to any of it. We just said, hey, how are we going to get better? And it started with that, and there's a lot of other things that go into it with execution and play design and everything, but put it all together and see what happens, and that's kind of what we did.
It seemed like Pat and MVS were on the same page, and that hasn't happened at other times this season. Anything to that, or why do you think that MVS was able to have some success?
Well, he made 2 really good catches. The first one to start the third quarter was a really, really good throw by Pat. And it was a great catch by Quez. It was a contested catch, trying to keep your feet in bounds and make the catch. That momentum to start the second half is huge to get going. And so there's a little bit of confidence that's there. So I don't know if I know the answer to, the time that we've been together and working through things, but I do know this, Quez has really stepped up at big-time games and big moments for us over the past 2 years. And when he makes those plays and Pat makes those throws, it's only going to improve their confidence in each other.
Why does Pat maintain trust in him? I mean, obviously he caught some heat for the ball against the Eagles and some other things that happened this year, but it seems like Pat isn't shy about going to him.
Yeah, he's not, and I think it's a quality that Pat has is, you also see a guy with Quez who literally, since the day he's been here, starting last year, every day of practice, every day in meetings, in the games, he's always there. You know, he's available, he's there. And so you're going to have some times where you don't connect. But I think it just speaks to who Pat is with his teammates, of the trust level that he has, and earning trust through Pat is real. And Quez is a vet; he knows that. And I want to give a lot of credit to Quez for being able to fight through and get through. You know, for him, a down year statistically, but he does so much stuff that's not a stat to help this offense out. So for him to have stuff that gets seen by everybody with those 2 big catches, it's nice to see for him.
Rashee has mentioned he's a lot more comfortable changing his route on the fly after he sees post-snap. How have you seen him grow in a processing standpoint?
Yeah, it's been really great to see Rashee every week get a little bit better within the play calls, within the play design, and then within the game of him just making plays, whether it's his explosiveness, his physicality, his ability to make contested catches, his ability to make the easy catch and stay away from drops, all of that. And I mean, he's doing it in elements of weather, and he's doing it in elements of playoff games. That's, to me, what's really, really neat to see him grow as a rookie. He is a rookie, you know, so it's been great for him growth-wise.
Matt, you guys have been getting more big plays in the running game lately. Something you can put your finger on there and why?
Nothing schematically per se. I think it probably just took a little bit longer for us, for whatever reason, this year to try to figure out what we want to do and how we want to do it. And then the guys too, like the offensive line, the tight ends, the running backs, they stayed persistent with staying aggressive, staying together, and staying physical. So when you do all that, it's something that I think is able to get you bigger plays. A lot, because the more guys that you have that can make those plays, if you have one guy or just 2 guys, they can double guys and try to take both of them away. So when you have these other players that can make big plays and impact the game, you know, Quez is a fast receiver. He can do things down the field. He can make plays. So when you have that, it opens up other guys, and it helps our offense out. So that's what we strive for.
Thanks, everybody.
Good. All right. Take care.
See you.
Side like we can in the, till it's over, yeah, today you don't really want to see it. Listen, I don't have anything to open up with other than I'm glad I'm here in front of them with you guys and gals, because that means we're still playing, so hopefully we can do it again next week. With that, I'll open it up.
Good. Obviously, you're consumed with shutting down Lamar and shutting down the Ravens, but I do wonder if just from a step back standpoint, you have an appreciation for Patrick versus Lamar as a theme of this game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this league is a lot about the quarterbacks, right? We're fortunate that in this game we got two of the best ones in the league. You know, our goal and what we talk about all the time is let's just get the ball back to our quarterback. You know, that's our job, right? And the only way to do that is to make sure that their quarterback doesn't do the things we know he's capable of doing. But two dynamic players that I'm sure for TV and everybody watching this would be pretty fun.
And in seeing Lamar's success last week, do you feel like you saw him take a postseason step of any sort? It's labored a little bit the postseason until now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't put too much credence into, you know, we always put things in the rearview mirror. I ask our guys to do that, whether our performance was good or bad. I'm sure they do the same thing, and you know, we look forward to this game, and we expect him to be as dynamic and on point as he was last week.
What's the challenge when you're expecting a star player like Mark Andrews to be back in the mix and you don't necessarily have that recent?
Yeah, that's a great point. We do think he'll play. We don't know that, but we're going to plan as if he is, and he's another weapon for the quarterback, and a trusted weapon. I mean, we've seen it. It happened early in the year, and we've seen it in previous years. We'll have to be on point. What you hope for is they're a little rusty, right? Because they haven't played a lot together. But these guys are pro athletes, and they know what they're doing, so I don't think we can completely trust that that's going to happen.
Over the past few years, you've had to play some young guys. Another guy this year is Smart.
Yeah.
We've been drawing the fire a little bit. Talk about what you're seeing.
Yeah, really proud of Chamari, and really in the way he's developed. When he came here, I can remember back in OTAs, it was like, whoa, it's going to take a while, you know. But because he wasn't used to some things that we were doing, and, you know, we're pretty multiple. But I'll tell you what, he has grinded at it. The vets around him have just kind of pulled him along, the LJs, and even Trent, and certainly Justin Reid, Mike Edwards back there. And he really, you know, we kind of spoon-fed him early, right? We've given him piece by piece, and then he moved to nickel, and we could see he could do some things there. So he was, and then he was out there with the guys, right? When you're here as a rookie, you're with the twos and the threes, right, in the walkthrough. And then all of a sudden, he's up there with the guys, right? And I think that gave him some confidence. He does play, you all see that. He plays fast, and he's physical. I mean, I'll take that all the time. And
Is he feeding off of the other guys?
yeah. Yeah, very much so. And he's getting a little bit more vocal. That wasn't his big thing, but he is now because he's confident in what he's saying and seeing. And I think our guys like playing around him and trust him. That's a big thing.
Steve, how did you feel like you did against Josh Allen, the running part of it?
Yeah.
All the other things you had to defend also?
Yeah, we would have liked to have done better. I mean, I was over there praying like heck he'd make a mistake. Yeah, he never made a mistake. He didn't make a mistake when to scramble, when not to scramble, when to throw, where to throw it to. Didn't turn the ball over. Even the one time when Chris made a heck of a play getting out of there, got it on the ground, we couldn't get it. We would have liked to have defended him better, certainly in the first half, right, to get the ball back to Patrick a little bit more. But they were just really good at possessing the ball. The third downs early, like the first third down, that still kills me. It was 3rd and 17 or something, right? But he makes a play. I don't know how you defend that, you know. Breaks out of there, everybody's trying to go get the scrambling quarterback, right? And then he flicks it to, I think, the running back. And then they get the 4th and 1, and they get. But we would have liked to defend, but we certainly need to defend this quarterback better than we did last week to make things go the way we want.
Playing against him last week, did that help you?
Playing against Josh?
Yeah, did that help you properly?
Yeah, Mitch just mentioned that when we had a conversation out there, Mitch Holtis, and I think there is something to that. Like, the challenge is the same. You know, quarterback that can throw it, that can run it, that can scramble, right? It's like 3 dimensions instead of 2. And some of the things that we normally would put in a game plan for that type of quarterback were in there last week. They'll carry over to this week. And, yeah, so hopefully practicing 2 weeks and that kind of.
Let's do 3 more. Go ahead, Todd.
Can't piggyback on that. Lamar's a little bit of a different athlete.
Yeah.
Josh, right? So do the principles change at all in terms of contain and stuff like that? And then also, what value would it have if Willie's healthy, ready to go?
Yeah, good point about Willie. They are different quarterbacks. You know, what we want to do to them might change a little bit. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but he's just like, if you put the film on, I mean, it's like, okay, how do you defend that? It's another one of those, right? Because there's some things he does that nobody else does. And the best thing we can do is try to contain him as best we can. To me, the best thing we did last week, if we could do this again, which is hard to do, is limit the explosive passes. I mean, I think that helps us. You know, then it makes them kind of matriculate down the field, and hopefully we can make a play somewhere along the way. The Willie thing is a really good one. I don't know where we'll be right now, but he, you know, you all know he adds a piece in passing downs. Now, as we talk about that, we got to get him in those passing downs. Last time we played this crew, I know it's a different offensive coordinator, but we only had 11 third downs, and 5 or 6 of them were 1 to 4. We need that needs to change to have any kind of success or have a chance at success. So that's what we'll be trying to do. Somebody else?
Yeah, and following up on that question, actually, one more skill set is so unique. What have you guys been doing to obviously, to replicate that skill set?
Yeah.
Scout team, and how difficult is it to simulate this speed at your students?
It's really hard to do. We do have a guy. Now, I'm going to ask Sid to help me out. Chris, and I can't say Chris's last name with O. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. But he did it yesterday for us. And I would say this, we're fortunate that we have Chris. He did it last week for us. He was Josh Allen, and Blaine did a little bit of it too, but you can't simulate it. And then even in practice, Chris, you're not tackling anybody, so you're not finishing on a guy. But there are some things that we have talked about in how we should practice to prepare for him. And I think Chris gives us as good a look as we're going to get, you know, during the course of a practice week.
Yesterday, Justin Reid was telling us how the Ravens kind of take the starch out of you. You know, you may come out and play them real hard in that first quarter, but they're just kind of relentless as they go.
Yeah.
How important is it to have that energy for the 4 quarters against these guys in particular?
Yeah, no question. I mean, I was a little fearful last week when we played so many plays in the first half. But we found a way to get off the field a couple times in the second half. We can't get into that kind of game and those long drives like that with Baltimore, because it would be really tough. I mean, listen, I was there in Baltimore for 2 years working with John Harbaugh. I got tremendous amount of respect for him. He's one of the best in the league. I'm a better coach because I work for John. Where I'm going with it is I know exactly what he's telling them, you know, and it's what you're talking about. And he's built the team that way, you know, to come right at you, you know, whether it's run or pass, and just keep bullying your way downfield. So we need to be prepared for that and find a way to kind of match that with the same kind of aggressive, fast play that they do. Got it all? Good. Thank you. Yep.
Quite honestly, no. We got 11 guys out there, man, to do their jobs. I think the D-line's gonna go out there, have a great game. Last week was kind of an anomaly for them. They've been out there balling for us for 18, 19 weeks. So we're gonna get back to where we are. We got to tackle a little bit better. Yeah, it starts up front though.
You did have him face the quarterback last week who likes to run and did several times.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that helps you prepare for Lamar Jackson, or their style is so different that it really doesn't help?
I think it's a little carryover for sure. Those guys are both electric with the ball out in space. They're able to look down the field and still make passes while still escaping. Both guys like to go out to their right, man, and rightfully so, the right-handed quarterback. So we got to limit that as much as we can, man, and play sticky coverage in the back end when he scrambles.
What do you think to come in defending Lamar just because he has that sideline-to-sideline speed?
Hopefully we get him back this week. Again, I know he's battling to get back, but if it's not Willie, that's gonna be next man up, man. We got a couple guys that can still do his job and try to go out there and execute the game plan. It's next man up mentality. When you get this part of the season, injuries is part of the game.
Nick, when you look at Lamar, what do you think over the course of time this season has been the key to his success? What has made him able to do all the things he's been able to do?
Yeah, if I go back to watch my rookie year, watch how he operated and how he operates now, man, I can tell he's more confident in himself, the players around him, the scheme. He just kind of slowed the game down for him a little bit. I kind of feel like it's kind of helped him continue to get better and better as the years go by. I think last year Kyle would have been pretty good as well before he got hurt. And yeah, so he's just kind of building up year after year, giving himself a chance in the pocket, not escaping as much, keeping his eyes down the field, man, and just letting his pass catchers be explosive.
They like to use tight ends.
Yeah.
It's like maybe Mark Andrews, maybe back as well.
Yeah.
A lot of really good tight ends out
Yeah, man, I think it starts with they run the ball, man. Average 160 per game, so that starts with that. Then I kind of just flow off of that a little bit, let Zay get going, Odell get going with a couple explosives, and work the intermediate routes with the tight end. So I think we'll start up front with linebackers, the D-line, stopping the run, then just make a little bit in the back end, trying to see if we get different guys on their tight ends. We understand that both of those guys are very explosive with the ball, both vertical routes as well. Yeah, man, it was huge. He's one of those guys that because of his body type, he can play multiple positions. Plays nickel, plays safety, play a little bit of dime, play a little bit of everything. So him coming in, moving from nickel, playing in the back end, and down there playing sticky coverage, man, and mixing it up, making open field tackles, forced a fumble, first play of the game. I think that kind of exudes his confidence, man. He's going every single week. I'm proud of where he's at, but I think he's still got a lot of great football in front of him as well.
You're around him more than anybody. I guess, what do you think makes Steve Spagnuolo a good defensive coordinator? What's his best asset?
Yeah, not afraid to change. He'll change what we've been going through all week in the first quarter, second quarter, fourth quarter. Just trying to find ways he has one of those things I like to say a lot is it's not about who's right, it's about getting it right. So that's kind of the mindset we have throughout the game. We feel like there's something better that can work or makes us a little bit more benefit us a little bit more. In the second half, we'll make that adjustment. We'll execute the game plan. We'll find ways to get people off the board.
Last one. Thanks, Nick.
Yep, thank you.
Rashee, first AFC Championship game for you. What's this season been like? I know the expectation when you get here is this is what happens in Kansas City. Has anything surprised you throughout this playoff run?
Nah, not necessarily. To be honest, the most surprising part is, it's just a different perspective when you're watching on TV and you don't have like personal relationships with those guys. And I mean, just being a part of it and, actually having to put your head down and grind to get to where you got to get.
Coaches and Pat have mentioned that your willingness to ask questions as you've gone here. How important has Marquez, him especially been important to your development?
He's been very important. If there's anybody, that's helping me, a lot on the field and off the field is Marquez. Anything I need to know, he's there for me to help me even when it comes to playing, against other teams. He's been in the league for 5-6 years, so he's been playing against a lot of those guys, so he can let me know anything I need to know.
We talked to Pat Manning yesterday about how he guarded against frustration, and he talked about his willingness to teach and just keep working through the struggle. Is there a moment that stands out, like a time where Pat taught you something or had a conversation with you at some point this season?
Every day. We're always putting in, different routes and stuff like that, and just, changing up personnels and formations. So, when it comes to running, certain routes against zone and man defense, it's just like without me even having to go to Pat's gonna let me know what he's looking for so I can know how to run my route.
So what's Pat like as a teacher?
A number one teacher, the best teacher you can get. if you want anybody to, tell you how to do something, you want the primary source, and he's gonna let you know.
Rashee, Trav talked about how his message is to you guys, the fact that the deeper you go in the playoffs, the speed of the game changes, the intensity, raises. Have you experienced that these past couple games?
Yeah. I mean, every game it just seems like it gets a little bit faster. Obviously, we're kind of getting prepared for that throughout the week, just because it's real intense in there. The intensity goes up in practice. The margin of error, it goes down or little to none. Like, we don't really look to have any mistakes during this time. So.
You haven't had much time off, right? You prepared for the draft, really long season. How's the body feel? Took a pretty good shot in the second half of that game. Are you holding up physically throughout all this as well?
Yeah, of course. I got the vets around me, like I said, so, they teach me how to take care of my body throughout the long season. I was prepared to, I was looking forward to having a long season this year, despite getting ready for the combine, the draft and stuff like that, just because I love this game. I didn't get to the NFL to have a short season.
Anything in particular that you've changed, that you've learned from the vets? I mean, whether it's sleep habits or food or anything that's prepared you to do this?
Everything. Eating habits, definitely sleep, but like I said, just staying on top of your body. Even, our days are long. I get up in the morning for treatment, and I'm ready to go home like 30 minutes away and just get away and go lay in my bed, but I got to go back to the training room to stay on top of my body.
Rashee, can I talk about playing some of these games on the road, and that was a big storyline last week, is what the Chiefs would look like in the postseason on the road. From what I know, you're a rookie, but from what you've been able to observe, what is it about this locker room and about this team that when 70,000 people are booing you guys, been able to respond?
I would say the fact that, we personally, we know that it's the Chiefs versus everybody. No matter if, another, the fans feel like the refs are on our side. Like, we just know we come here every day, to put in the work together. So if anybody is going to be, leaning on somebody, it's going to be us, each other.
Patrick mentioned sometimes where he makes a check or something with the receivers, and eventually it gets to a point where they kind of almost find them. How close do you feel like you are to knowing exactly what Patrick wants to do on a play-to-play basis in that regard?
I think I'm very close. It's even some plays where I'm waiting and expecting for Pat to, give me a sign or something, just because I feel like I can I can win on the route. But sometimes, I just gotta stick to the route, and know Pat know what he's doing. So.
Last question, anyone?
Yeah, Rashee, what do you see from the Ravens defense?
I see aggressive defense. They got great corners. They got great size. At the end of the day, I feel like they're as far as a full defense, they're really good at rallying to the ball. So we just got to make our catches and be ready to get tackled and score touchdowns.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.